Oh. Wow. Great argument impresses the judge. Wait, what is this?
The officer says that she has observed him makes that unsafe lane change, and that lane change is outside of the City of Bel Air Police Department jurisdiction. Now, we have a particular statute that governs whether officers can have the authority to make a detention of someone when they are outside of their jurisdiction, and that's 14.03 of
Their PD can still stop someone outside of Bel Air.
Well, not for, well, according to the code, it says a peace officer.
That would mean that any officer outside would never be able to do anything.
No, that's incorrect. There's a very limited exception, and that's what applies in this case.
Oh, we have a movie moment. I wonder how many lawyers that like get into litigation have these like the dream of like, I went through the entire code and there's actually like codified this little loophole that doesn't actually mean that this thing that you think is bad is actually bad. Assuming he's making a correct argument.
Hey there, welcome to the Courtroom Files. So we acknowledge that we show a lot more Judge Fleischer than the other judges, and don't think for a minute that's because we favor him particularly. We don't. We like all of the different judges for different reasons. But there's a lot of compelling things that come out of that judge's courtroom, and it's probably because he's more willing than most to entertain them. And that's what we have here today. We have a very unique argument that's being made by the defense attorney. We really enjoyed watching this, and we think you will too.
What do you think is the difference? Or maybe am I crazy? Actually, maybe I'm biased because I'm seeing him like already balding. I feel like there are certain balding patterns on men that just look fine. But maybe if I saw him with like a full head of hair, I'd be like, oh shit, that sucks. I think of is it Kevin Spacey? Does he have one? Oh yeah, like with the longer hair, I think it looks horrible. Wait, does he ever have shorter hair? Actually, this doesn't even look that horrible. Jude Law. Fuck, I'm falling into the trap of they're just attractive. So they're just attractive and it doesn't really matter. I think that's what, never mind, forget Alan.
So this video is going to start out with just a normal probable cause hearing, nothing too fancy, but you need it to lay the groundwork for what comes next.
It's not the balding, it's just the power of the bow tie.
And that's when the attorney shows up a while later and brings a very unique argument to the judge about why that officer probably had no reason to stop his client in the first place and no right to do it. So
yeah, like this guy, this looks fun, I think. I don't know why though. Fucking Vegeta.
please take a look.
No, it doesn't. Would you rather him keep it or shave? Volume. Oh, that might be it too. I wonder why, okay, I'm becoming a balding expert because of this fucking subreddit. This is a Norwood. Which one? What level? They call him the Norwood Reaper. Norwood 3 is this balding progression. But I feel like normally when people are posting their balding, usually their hair is thinning too, right? But it looks like he's got like decent volume, but not a lot of, he's got good volume still, right? Even if this is progressed. I wonder why you think that is. Abusing gel. It's just random. How do you tell if it's your natural hairline or if you're balding? They always say that you are supposed to Google mature hairline. I don't know all the patterns, but apparently there are different balding patterns. They have names for them. The only one I know is because they call him the Norwood Reaper. But if it's like heavily receding into like this area here, like really heavily, that's supposed to be balding, but like a little bit just means that your hairline is maturing. I don't even know where Norwood comes from. Maybe that's the name of a doctor?
Look at it. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Please do put a like on the video if you enjoy it. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And let's roll game film.
Good morning, sir.
You're Trevor Flores.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Flores, you're charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon. You're facing up to a year in jail and/or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney
Nor was the guy who invented balding? What an asshole. Why would he invent something like that? Jesus.
present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
Also initiated a traffic stop after observing the defendant cross several lanes while failing to signal and almost causing a collision. Upon contact, the officers observed an odor of marijuana. The officers asked the defendant to step out of the vehicle and asked whether the defendant had marijuana inside. The defendant admitted he did have marijuana inside, as well as a firearm. During the search of the vehicle, the officers found a handgun in plain view on the driver's side floorboard, not in holster. The officers also located 13 grams of marijuana under the passenger seat.
Got it. All right, Mr. Flores, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. Do you have a valid Texas driver license?
Under the passenger seat, found a handgun in plain view. The defendant admitted he did have odor of marijuana. The officers asked the defendant to step out of the vehicle and asked whether the defendant had marijuana inside. The defendant admitted he did have marijuana inside, as well as a firearm. During the search of the vehicle, the officers found a handgun in plain view on the driver's side floorboard, not in holster. The officers also located 13 grams of marijuana under the passenger seat.
Got it. All right, Mr. Flores,
Fuck, I don't remember these rules. I think if you don't have a concealed carry permit, I think you're required to have the firearm in plain view. Am I wrong or right about that? I don't remember. But like if you can't hide the firearm in a car unless it's I think unless it's unloaded and there's a separation between the ammo and the gun. But I don't remember. I don't know if just having a firearm, I don't know if having it outside of a holster, if it's not loaded, I don't know if that's a crime or not. I'm not sure. But he's mentioning it, so it sounds like it might be a charge. The marijuana thing is probably a charge to you.
I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. Do you have a valid Texas driver license?
Sorry.
Do you not?
I have a SR22 in place. My license was suspended.
Okay. You're not allowed to drive. Do you understand?
There's no requirement for a CCH in Texas. It's a constitutional carry. I thought constitutional carry meant everybody was allowed to open carry. Not concealed carry, no? Oh, both openly and or concealed. Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
If I find that you drive, I will have a contempt hearing. It's possible you face another 6 months in jail. I'm going to have you sign an affidavit with me today, promising you that you're not going to drive. Do you have liability insurance in your name? Car insurance.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I don't want you driving until you have a Texas driver license. You need to call DPS, figure out what to do to get your license. I'm going to give you the phone number now, but it's time for you to get your license back. And when you show me that you have your license and that you have car insurance, I will happily allow you to drive. But until that point, do not drive.
Am I not allowed with the SR22?
No, I don't know what's going on with your license. I don't know if you've ever had a license. What's going on? Alex, can you run it, please?
On the license?
Please.
Oof. I had SR22 for a year. Not good. Not a good feeling.
Yes, Your Honor.
I mean, I can't give you legal advice, okay? But as it stands, until you have a Texas driver license and liability insurance, don't drive. I'm also ordering you as a condition of your bond not to be in possession of any
SR22 is when you have a mega bad traffic infraction and they're like, you need to carry the extra special fighter pilot insurance.
weapons as well. Do you understand? This is a condition of your bond. If I find that you have a weapon, I'm going to revoke your bond. I'm going to put you in jail. You will not get any more PR bonds. Do you understand, sir?
Yes, sir.
How old are you?
26.
What do you do for a living?
High school football coach.
And I see it is not eligible and it says it's a mandatory suspension due to driving with license invalid as well as SR suspension.
Okay, so you even have an SR suspension. You can't drive at all. So this is now a bond condition. If I find that you drive, I'm telling you, HE double hockey sticks to pay. You understand?
So it's still a license to drive? No. SR22 insurance, I think, is just if you've been mega bad driving or you got a mega bad infraction. SR22 is an elevated required insurance that you're supposed to carry. You still need a license and everything else, but SR22 is just an elevated standard of insurance you're required to have for some period of time after certain traffic infractions.
So I'm not allowed to retrieve my weapon back?
Why is the judge being an asshole? He's not being an asshole. He's just being firm. He's a judge. What do you mean?
I'm ordering you now, while this case is open, not to have any weapons.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Here, Stephen, do you mind giving this to me, please? This is the number to the driver's license division to DPS. You need to call them in the morning to figure out what you need to do to get your license back. Don't call them at 9. Don't call them at 8. Don't call them at 1:02. You're never going to get through. You need to call right when the phone line's open, which is at 7 o'clock in the morning. You'll get through, give them your license number, and ask them what you need to do to get your license.
Maybe I'm wrong, but why does it seem like these judges always attack the suspect's moral character, calling them bums, etc., telling them to get a job? Aren't they just supposed to enforce laws? Well, judges are not supposed to enforce laws. They just pass judgment on things. That's all they do. But I mean, like, usually, I mean, these people need to hear it or they need to hear something. Like, I imagine if you're a judge, it's probably pretty frustrating because you see the same people over and over and over and over and over again. Yeah.
license back.
Okay.
Once you do, I'll tell you, I'll take this off, you know?
Yes, sir.
Did you want to apply for an appointed lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I need you to fill out an application for me. I'll take a look at it. And then, assuming you qualify, I'll give you a lawyer today. I'm going to have you sign this agreement with me today that you're not going to drive. And I want you to understand, Mr. Flores, I take this so serious. Don't drive. If you drove here, you can't drive home.
No, I didn't drive here. My brother did.
All right. So I'll have you come up here, swear to us. I'm happy to go to Jamay, sign a reset, and then we'll have you fill out the application. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Bring a shared code book at the moment. We may have to have you look at a couple interesting things.
Okay.
This is on the Trevor Flores case, Judge. I think you visited with that gentleman earlier. He's present here at the moment.
Okay.
But I got the case this morning. I've had a chance to do a kind of little bit of digging
Cursory.
into. Yes. And although we are still waiting for the bulk of discovery of the case, he's charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon following a traffic stop. And I've got a map that is kind of intriguing. I think you'll find just with the way it's drawn. But he stopped by an officer with the City of Bel Air Police Department. And
There is no way that this is happening. Wait, I don't understand this at all. Where's Pisco? Where are the lawyers at? Mr. Public Defender, who got this case 4 hours ago, pulled out a city map to establish jurisdiction of the police officer that pulled him over and then looked at the specific. No shot. Wait, how did this happen? Is this like a champion public defender? Is this like a guy who was pulled out of like a $50 billion law firm and they're like, listen, dude, you got to do your public service. And he's like, oh, fuck it. He's like the guy from Suits, or he's like some crazy, and he's like, all right, I've never lost a case before. Let me look this up. Hold on. Wait, what the fuck?
may I approach to just show you this delineation? But this is, but he's pulled over going.
I know the area
on a
well.
Northbound. He's pulled over going northbound on 610 as he, what is described as makes an unsafe lane change. So he's northbound on 610, wants to get on 59 to go southbound, is erroneously in the wrong lane going northbound. The officer says that she has observed him makes that unsafe lane change, and that lane change is outside of the City of Bel Air Police Department jurisdiction. Now, we have a particular statute that governs whether officers can have the authority to make a detention of someone when they are outside of their jurisdiction, and that's 14.03 of
Their PD can still stop someone outside of Bel Air.
Or not for, well, according to the code, it says a peace officer.
That would mean that any officer outside would never be able to do anything.
No, that's incorrect. There's a very limited exception, and that's what applies in this case. So it says a peace officer who's licensed and is outside of the officer's jurisdiction may arrest without a warrant a person who commits any offense within the officer's presence or view, other than a violation of subtitle C, Title 7 of the Transportation Code. So generally, any offense that an officer sees, he can arrest that person or detain them, as the way the code uses that term, arrest. He can detain that person. But when it's for a traffic offense, that officer is
He's not
required.
arresting him for a traffic offense, though.
Well, that was the basis for the
That
stop.
was the basis for the stop, though. Why would this? I'm trying to think of what this would even mean. So a police officer that witnesses a traffic infraction of a certain type, what, that probably isn't like a felonious one, like drunk driving suspicion or like vehicular manslaughter. But if he sees you committing a traffic infraction, what, outside of his jurisdiction, he's not allowed to pull you over? It doesn't matter what you arrest him for. Oh, so this is kind of like the video we were talking about yesterday, where if that cop would have done everything right with the dude whose car was outside the place, the cop might have been able to arrest the guy if he would have done the investigation correctly. But he arrested him for not IDing when the guy didn't need to ID yet because he was just being detained. He wasn't arrested. This sounds like a similar thing where, damn, he had 12 grams of marijuana. Is that a lot? I fuck up the grams to ounces bullshit. No? Okay. What's more? If I do 1.5 ounce, 3.5. Is 14 ounces a gram? How many ounces is a gram? I don't even fucking know. No, what? How many grams is an ounce? 28. Jesus. Okay. Wait, is this right? Wait, hold on. I'm thinking in my brain, what is a full, like if you do mushrooms, you want to have like a full mushroom trip. It's 3.5 grams. Oh, it's an eighth of an ounce. Oh, that makes sense. I guess. Okay. Yeah. No. All right. Yeah. So 12 grams. Okay. What's like your normal like big trouble weed pullover shit? Is it like an ounce or more or?
Stop.
Sure.
But the way the code contemplates arrest, it's any, and that's defined in, I think, in chapter 15. But arrest as contemplated by the code includes detentions. And so this officer doesn't have the ability.
Arrest as contemplated by the code includes detentions in here as well. Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Contemplated by the code includes detentions. And so this officer doesn't have the ability where that stop takes place to make that detention. That officer could detain him if he saw him committing theft, could detain him if he saw him committing an assault, can't for transportation.
So, but he stops him for whatever reason it is, right? Comes up to the car and he smells marijuana,
Yes.
right? And then don't they even get a drug sniffing dog?
Yeah, but none of that matters if he didn't, because it's not like a consensual encounter on the street. I would imagine any time you're pulled over by a police officer, it's automatically a detainment without anything happening because he's turning his lights on. You're not free to leave when a police officer is like the cop, in order to make the stop, must have already a reasonable suspicion of a crime. Otherwise, how the fuck can the cop just pull you over, right? So none of this matters. It doesn't matter if they brought a drug sniffing dog and they found 20 bodies in the trunk. I don't know what they would do in that case, but doesn't matter.
Is this the one where they get a drug sniffing dog and they
doesn't
find
matter.
the weed?
It doesn't matter. That's what he's saying. It
Was that a
doesn't
different
matter.
case?
No, it's a different case, Judge. But the handgun, I believe, was in.
It was in plain view.
No, I think it's, well.
He didn't
so-
see the handgun though, and even if he saw a handgun, I don't know if seeing a handgun is probable. You don't know if the guy's got a license for that or not. You don't know if he's suspended or not allowed to carry or whatever. You have no idea, right?
I think what's alleged is it's in conjunction with possession of marijuana. And for purposes of just this limited PC question, not my focus is solely the
PC question is probable cause. It's whether or not he had probable cause to pull him over, and it sounds like by statute the cop doesn't have probable cause because he's out of his jurisdiction. Oh man.
detention. I'm not.
It's certainly crafty. It's great.
Crafty and great. Careful. Those are laws passed by the legislature. Remember, you're just a judge. Your only mission, your only job is to figure out if the executive, if the enforcer of laws passed by Congress, if they are enforcing those laws correctly. It's not up to you to decide what the law ought to be or how the law ought to be enforced. It's up to you to decide whether or not the law is being followed correctly, right? Yeah.
But he's not arresting him for the traffic offense.
Well,
You pulled him over
but
for
I think
it.
we're looking at a limited scope of what arrest means. So I think you're looking at arrest as in
But
being
you
arrested.
would be saying that really, if he had committed an ag rob, right, or
Well-
kidnapping, then even if he had kidnapped, like let's say he had a 2-year-old child in the car that he had kidnapped across state lines. Well, then according to this, because he's in a different jurisdiction, then you couldn't arrest him on.
No, because he said it only included the subsection of the code that involves traffic stops. You could pull somebody over for a suspected kidnapping if they match a description or something like that, just not for traffic infractions.
That kidnapping charge
If
too.
he saw a kidnapping taking place, the officer could arrest him by
Correct, yes.
under that code.
But not for
what
a
he can't
traffic
do is
infraction.
When there's a traffic code violation,
Yeah.
we don't allow for example, the El Paso Police Department to come to Houston and then sit on the street corner and arrest people for traffic violations. We don't allow them to make those stops. And that's what that issue here
Yeah.
is a peace officer who's outside of his jurisdiction able to enforce the traffic
I
code.
know where you're going, and I've seen it before, but I'm not.
I'm sorry, but I mean, you're kind of fucked here, bro. What do you mean? You're not what? You can't do it. Destiny. Generally, judges will not go easy with something that looks like a loophole, while the function of the legislation isn't affected by ignoring loopholes. So if a judge will always push back. I agree, because most loopholes are Reddit tier retarded shit. Like, most people are like, oh, well, actually, he spelled my name PH instead of a V on the traffic ticket. Stephen Bunnell instead of Stephen Bunnell. So actually, none of this happened, blah, blah, blah. Like, those types of loopholes are retarded, and you're probably not going to have anything. But this is unambiguous, right? Fuck, I wish I could remember it. There's a way to figure out if a law is good or not, or how you read a law. And number one is supposed to be the text. You read the text. If the text is clear, then you follow the text. If the text is unclear, then there's 2 and 3. One is then you go historical and you try to see historically how has the thing been enforced. And then there's a third one. I don't remember what it is. Fuck. Some lawyer fucker should be in my chat. But there's three ways. You read through. But when the text is clear and unambiguous, I think that's the phrasing used. When the text is clear and unambiguous, then you follow the text. It's very simple. That's it. Well, if you don't like it, you change it. Well, you don't change it. The legislature changes it. Like, it would be, ooh, Malsu in chat, okay? Our Supreme Court dissenting justice. This isn't really a loophole if the whole exception is literally written in the law. Correct. This is like explicit text written in the law. And for you to go, I don't know about that one. I don't think I believe that. Tough shit. That's not on you to decide. That's not your job as a judge to decide.
Mr. Wallace,
Where exactly did it occur anyways?
let me see like the address. We don't have like any discovery in this case or how many dash cameras.
So what it says in there is 5600 610 northbound. And what's so curious about this is
Is that still in Bel Air? Is it
no,
outside?
that would be outside of Bel Air too. And going northbound, southbound lanes are covered in the city of Bel Air. The northbound lanes, for some reason, are not.
I don't know. We'd have to look closer. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
I mean,
happy to.
There's no shot that this public defender guy was something happened here. What is the story behind this? There's no shot that Captain Public Defender was like, you know what? On this case, actually, let's fucking open the books. Get the goddamn city maps out. We're going to see where the fuck this actually applies. There's no shot.
It's something
further
that
into this,
you have to look. I mean,
can
I can't make that determination now.
Fair enough.
Number two,
Yes.
he's not arresting him on a traffic offense.
Well, and
Why do you keep saying that? It doesn't matter what he's arresting him for. It matters what the probable cause was for the initial detainment, right? Because if that's bullshit, then everything else past that gets tossed.
I think what the code contemplates when it says arrest, and I think there's case law on this, is that it includes the concept of detention as that's been, because I think when that code was written.
And so what I'm saying would apply.
Oh. Wait, I'm so sorry. Hold on. I'm misunderstanding hardcore. The judge is making a better argument than I'm giving him credit for. I'm sorry. Hold on.
Further into this,
You have to look. I mean,
can
I can't make that determination now.
Fair enough.
Number two,
Yes.
he's not arresting him on a traffic offense.
Well, and I think what the code contemplates.
This guy is saying that the code says that you can't like arrest somebody for these particular things. And he's saying, well, he's not being arrested for that. He's being arrested for something different. This guy is saying that the code doesn't just refer to arrests. It also contemplates detainment when it says arrests. So the judge is making a better argument here. I'm sorry. I'm misunderstanding when he keeps saying this, but this is what he's saying. But the guy here is saying that in the code, it's written that arrest and detainment are used interchangeably. Yeah. New dictate to my YouTube mods. Ban everybody. I don't know if this is like a troll question. Does Destiny even read YouTube chat? Just ban people that ask this question. It spams and shits up my chat. There's no reason for it. Get it out of here. Okay.
When it says arrest, and I think there's case law on this, is that it includes the concept of detention as that's been, because I think when that code was written.
And so what I'm saying would apply as well, though. Like if he catches a 2-year-old kid, right, that's been kidnapped, by your theory, he wouldn't be able to arrest him on a kidnapping charge too.
No, because now this is a dumb argument. Because the kidnapping, witnessing that, or matching a description for a 911 call, that's not just a traffic infraction.
It's not my theory, it's the code.
If he has a dead body in the car, he wouldn't be able to do it.
Doesn't matter past it. Yeah. I really want to ask, where's Pisco? I do want to ask a question about that though. Let's say you pull somebody over for a bullshit reason, a bullshit traffic stop, and then you open the trunk and there are like 10 dead bodies in there. Does the person really just walk completely? I think the answer is yes. Isn't that the, that's why Cosby walked? No, I don't believe that's why Cosby walked. I'm trying to think if that's applied to OJ's case.
Well, that's a legislature question. And I mean, but they wrote that.
I can't imagine that the legislature intended that. I think that they intended for.
Okay, so intention of the legislature might be the second thing that you go to, and then history might be third. So first is like, is the text clear and unambiguous? When it's not clear or unambiguous, then you try to ascertain the intention of the legislature. Like if they wrote on all roads, and somebody creates a new type of street or road, and it's called like a flurban, And it's like, okay, well, obviously the legislature intended these regulations to apply on full urbans as well. And then I think third might be historical.
Traffic, let's say for
But it's hard. I don't believe it's fair or proper for the executive or for the judicial to try to ascertain what the legislature might have intended when the text is clear and unambiguous, which it sounds like in this case it might be, yeah.
speeding, right? Or your tail light is out. Yeah, not to arrest in that respect. But he goes up to the car, smells marijuana, sees a gun in plain view. I can't imagine the legislature intended in that purpose.
And my position, of course, is that, and this may be for a motion to suppress later down the line, and I think there's still plenty more to do in the case.
It's a freaking awesome argument.
Motion to suppress. What do you think that means? To make it so that certain evidence that was brought up isn't allowed to be contemplated in court? Motion to suppress. A motion to suppress is a motion that revolves around the exclusion of evidence from trial, yes. In the United States, motion to suppress is a request made by a criminal defendant in advance of a criminal trial asking the court to exclude certain evidence from the trial. The proposed basis for the exclusion must be in the U.S. Constitution, a state constitution, or some specific statute that permits such evidence to be excluded. A motion to exclude evidence that is based on rules of evidence in advance of the trial is more commonly called a motion in limine. In federal courts, Rule 41H of the Federal Rules of the Criminal Procedure governs motions to suppress. The concept of motion to suppress is based on the exclusionary rule. Excludes from trial evidence obtained in violation of the defendant's constitutional rights and protects citizens from unlawful search and seizures. In Simmons v. U.S., the Supreme Court explained, in order to effectuate the Fourth Amendment's guarantee of freedom from unreasonable search and seizures, the court long ago conferred upon defendants in federal prosecutions the right upon motion, that means you have to exercise this right, and proof, to have excluded from trial evidence which had been secured by means of an unlawful search and seizure. One of the reasons why lawyers get paid the big bucks and why it's important to have lawyers is because you need to have people who are aware of like all the rights afforded to you, negative and positive, and what motions they need to file and what evidence they need to fight on and what objections they need to call in deposition or in trial. Like, it's important to have people that know their shit for this. It's one of the reasons why people pay the big bucks for people like this, yeah. Limini, is that what it's called? Limini. Is that how you pronounce that? Limini. Okay. Wait, lemony? What was the gun charge? I don't know, actually. I don't know if it formally said it. It might have just been having a gun in conjunction with having drugs, or maybe the guy wasn't allowed to have one at all, I'm not sure.
Well, but the idea
I love
is
you. Mr. You're wonderful,
no right to
right?
detain him.
Right? Really?
I appreciate that. I appreciate judging. We'll get
I'm not ready yet, but build it. If you build it, they will come. And then we'll take a look down the road and yeah,
Thank you.
for sure.
Don't forget your phone.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed that video, do please
How you pronounce it.
You go through, you call witnesses, you present evidence. There are motions ad limine to admit things into
Oh, ad limine.
evidence. You don't just ask.
Real lawyer reacts to Darman? Wait, how have we missed this? What the fuck? Wait, did it succeed or not? Is there an update?
the
9 days ago, so who knows? This is one of the like YouTube judges. There are a few courts that have like an active camera rolling, and this guy, and then there's one other guy who's like a friendly old dude, are the ones that I see posted the most. Super short clip of same judge dismissing a charge of walking while black.
Mr. Blake, you're charged with possession of marijuana. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent.
Defendant crossed unauthorized crossing point from convenience store to apartment complex.
Do you not game on stream anymore? Recently watched some old debates and I like the Subway Surfers while you talk. I don't do Subway Surfers.
Unauthorized crossing point from convenience store to apartment complex.
Wait, he did what?
He crossed an unauthorized crossing point, so I guess he crossed the street.
Is he jaywalking?
Yeah. Yes, Your Honor.
Does jaywalking give you... I don't know when cops have the right to search you or not. Like, I know if you're being arrested, I think they always have the right to search you. I don't think if you're being detained or if you're being cited for any crime, that always gives them the right to search. I don't think that's the case. Sounds like it's not here.
Walking while black.
A PC search was conducted and the officer observed a large sack of marijuana.
I don't think so. He's walking while black. I don't think so. I'm gonna find no probable cause.
Yes, Your
Mr. Blake, be careful, man. You know, the world is against you. Don't let him be. Do something with your life. You know what I mean? The more you just, come on, man. All right, I'm gonna have you just take a seat back, all right?
Okay. I mean, I feel like you need more information here. I don't know what's here. The cop has a right to ask you for anything. You don't have to comply. But like a cop could literally, I'm pretty sure a cop could be racist. A cop could see a black guy and be like, hey. And the black guy would be like, what? The cop would be like, you got anything in your pocket? And the guy's like, I don't know. The cop's like, let me see. And the guy empties his pockets and there's marijuana. Cop can take the marijuana and arrest you or whatever. Like, if it's a consensual stop and you cooperate and you just show him everything, I don't think they need probable cause because he's not detaining you or forcing you or compelling you to do anything, right? But maybe there's more information here. Who knows? The case here was that he searched him without consent. That's why they said PC search. Ah, that's a big one. This sounds like really cringe. I call it a lot of cringe because I am a cop, bootlicker, lover. I love cops. I love the police, okay? Not really, but I call it a lot of cringe on the sovereign citizen side or bullshit like that. Mainly because people are super rude. You can tell they're trying to be famous on YouTube, whatever. But even if it does sound cringe, saying things like if the cop is like, I want to search your car, and you're like, I don't consent to any searches, and the cop's like, okay, well, I'm going to go through your car, and you're like, okay, I don't consent to any searches. I don't know if it would make if this would be like the thing that make the difference, but it's nice to have that like verbalized and said and maybe even recorded because like, okay, this is not like a consensual search. Because if you're doing an unconsensual search, that means you need probable cause to do the search. So if you're very clear and you say, like, I'm not consenting in any searches, and then the cop searches your car, you find something legal, and then you go to court, well, there's going to have to be a probable cause question. Okay, well, what was the probable cause for searching his car? And if you didn't agree, and if you've explicitly said, like, I don't consent to the search, the cop needs to present PC in court to say, like, yeah, well, there was this or there was that, or for some reason, or whatever, yeah. Preventing murky waters between a request and an order is a good idea. Yes. Yeah. You have to assert your own rights by saying you don't consent to the search. It can't be implied. I don't think you have to say it. But police officers, in order to make their job easier, police officers sometimes rely on you not knowing the rights that you have. And I think that this is criminal in an ethical sense, not in an actual legal sense. A lot of Americans just don't know their rights. And it's very easy for you to give up more rights than you even realize by just being like a polite person. It's almost a little bit like, I'm making very disfavorable comparison right now, but it's kind of like a con man. When people are good salesmen or when people are good con men, they're just relying on like your ordinary natural human tendency to be like a decent person, right? Like a con man might walk up to you and ask for, $5, like people who beg on the street or people who, like, oh, can you lend me this or can I do whatever or do this or whatever subtle direction? Like, because usually people kind of like go along with people. So when a cop is asking like, hey, do you mind if I like check this or can I look in your car? Hey, can I just like take a peek in your backpack or whatever? They sound like innocuous questions, but you're at the consensual search stage. Consensual meaning you need to consent. And if you say yes, you've essentially waived your right to enforce them having probable cause to search you. And then if they find something past that point, you're fucked because now you've given up that right to be secure in your persons and in your ability to travel unobstructed. Yeah, cops will always ask questions like that. Like, hey, can I do you mind if I check your car? Can I look in this, or can I do that, or whatever? It's up to you whether or not you want to comply. There might be reasons to sometimes. But like you're waiving that right by being polite without even realizing it, unfortunately. Yeah. It is a fun critique to explore. You're expected to know the law and your rights, and that is hard in this complex world. I mean, is it hard? I don't know. There are reasons why we don't. I don't know if it's necessarily because it's hard, but for an ordinary person, I would understand why they wouldn't know them all, because you're not like taught them. It's not like drilled into your head or anything like that. Yeah. As a law enforcement officer, I'm upset with streams like this that disrespect police work. Cool. To answer your question, if police can search after detention, I would say yes. This is called incident to and investigative detention. All police needs is reasonable suspicion for the detention and reasonable grounds to believe that their safety or the safety of others is at risk. I'm a law student in Canada, so the criminal procedure might be slightly different depending on the state. That I believe you are allowed to. I think that is true. I think you're allowed to do a search of somebody if you're detaining them to check for weapons. I don't know if anything you find can be used past that point. I'm not sure. Like if you find drugs, I don't know 100%. I'm not sure. Should you consent to the search if you don't think you did anything wrong? That's totally up to you. I would say that in general, no. But I mean, it depends. Like I'll say things very cautiously, and you should take with this whatever. Like there have been times where I've consented to things because I know that the cop is pulling me over for some reason that's not whatever, and I don't give a fuck. And usually if you're polite and you're nice, generally, depending upon how you were pulled over, the cop will let you walk because he doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't want to do the paperwork. He doesn't write the ticket. But like, let's say hypothetically, if you get pulled over at like a speed trap, don't consent to fucking anything, because that cop is always writing you a ticket for anything he can get you on. If you get pulled over at a speeding trap, then you make the cop fucking jump through whatever hoop, whatever loop, whatever the gymnastics bullshit he has to do. You do not fucking consent to a single thing. You get pulled over, like, oh, write me the fucking ticket. Could I do this? Am I free to go? You're going to write me a ticket? Write me a ticket. Am I free to go? No, you don't consent to anything at that point. If you want to search my car, find a PC reason to do it. If you don't, then kick rocks and eat shit and give me my fucking speeding ticket and get me the fuck out of here. There's no point in being nice to or cooperating hardcore with a cop at a speeding trap. You're always getting a ticket no matter what. And they're going to go grocery shopping while they walk around your car, because that's what they're there to do. So if you've got a busted tail light, if you've got a rear view mirror with dice hanging off it, if you've got a dog who hasn't been brushed in too long, okay, the cop is there to grocery shop. So whatever the fuck he wants to write, it's whatever. And then, yeah, so fuck cooperating with those cops. But if you're, I'm speaking very, very, very generally. And by the way, this won't always be the case. But like if you're walking around at night with some friends and a cop's like asking, like, hey, what's going on over there? Like say like, oh, hey, we're from whatever, we're just like walking around, it's whatever. But just know that you run the risk of accidentally incriminating yourself into things that you didn't do, or getting yourself in more trouble than you even realize if you're not careful. And sometimes it might be good to exercise your rights, even if you feel like an asshole doing it. The example I give is maybe you're hanging out with some friends in like a closed, what do you call like the outdoor mall strip plazas or whatever the fuck you would. Maybe a couple cops are walking by, they see you, they're like, hey, what are you guys up to? And maybe you guys haven't done anything bad all night. You're just like chilling and you're like, oh, hey, what's up? We were just like hanging out, and you want to offer information because as humans we do, and because you feel like you haven't done anything. The cop's like, oh, what have you guys been up to tonight? It's like, oh, we were hanging out, we walked by the Target and then we came here. We've just been sitting down. You might not know this, but maybe the cops got a call saying two sketchy looking people came out of a Target and it looked like they'd broken in and stolen something. Maybe you don't even know the cops got that call. Maybe that's why they're there looking. And you saying that you and your friend had been walking through a Target or walking next to the Target, that might be enough with the combination of the 911 call, not to give them just, not even just, reasonable suspicion. That might even be probable cause for an arrest. So sometimes you could volunteer information and you don't even realize that you're getting yourself into a ton of trouble so it can always be good to exercise your rights, even if you feel like an asshole doing it. Just be careful. His police interactions being as tense, something that is exclusive to the US only. 99% of police interactions are totally fine. It doesn't matter. Most of the time, cops are just there making sure shit's not being weird. Most cops aren't out to shoot you or kill you or falsely incriminate you or whatever. Yeah. This is why a lot of experienced criminals never take probation pleas. Probation erases search and seizure rights. They'd rather do a little time and fight the next charge with rights. Well, okay.